What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Not Labeled podcast. I got with me today two good pals in Bear Killer and Zach. How you boys doing?
We doing good, dog. We doing good. It's been a
Yep.
minute.
Yep.
That's alright, that's alright. Well, you might have caught it a little bit earlier, but we were just talking about Twitch. What do you boys think about this new category they got? Hot tubs, pools, and beaches.
I just have I have no idea what y'all are talking about. Y'all going to have to explain to me.
Yeah, break it down for him.
Actually, Zach, I think you should take it over because you know more about streaming than I do.
I really don't know much. I've never tuned into any of them.
I haven't
But
either.
I've kind of seen word of it on social media and such. But
I've
I'm not
noticed
one
it
to
in the
stand
community.
between somebody making their money. You know, I know a lot of people have had success on these hot tub streams. But at the same time, I don't know if Twitch is the correct platform to be
Yeah, Colton, basically
wanting that kind of audience.
people are abusing it. They're getting overly sexual with some of the things they're doing on their stream. So that's why
And
some
they're
people are
getting a
upset.
lot of followers, and I'm guessing most of them are young men.
A lot of the community thought they were going to ban this, put a stop to this, but no, they did not. They made a category for it instead.
Well, my main question is there a way to, like, decide the age of whoever's tuning into those streams? Because
But
it's
then it
not
becomes a
anything
different thing.
inappropriate. It's not super inappropriate, but there is a gray line between what age should be tuning into that. If some,
Then
like,
you start
8-year-old
age restriction things like YouTube has, and it becomes
a headache.
fuzzy with its like freedom of expression. You know, it's kind of restricting.
I
And when
get
you
it.
start restricting your content creators, it gets difficult. You get that reputation going. It's hard to wash off.
Well, I just wouldn't want the reputation as being a OnlyFans.
That's a good
You
point
know,
too.
if I was Twitch, but
Yeah, that gets back to the parents. No
it's
kids
kind
gonna
of
be able to
something
have Twitch.
you either want to nip in the butt quick, or you're just cool with it long term. I don't know. Pick your poison.
You know what? I wish they streamed on Twitch more often. I don't know if they actually do, but like a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, that would be lit.
Yeah, I have no idea if Yu-Gi-Oh even has anybody that streams it, but that would be fun to watch.
That'd be a popular throwback, I would say.
I mean, don't they still have like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments and stuff?
You gotta know somebody who owns like a card shop or something and go on
Yeah.
Thursdays.
I can remember when I was younger that the mall had like this little video game store in it, and every other weekend or so there would be like a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. I never
Mhm.
participated because I
Me
didn't know
either.
the rules behind the game at the time. But
Oh, I did.
yeah,
I
that
was
was
just
just something cool.
afraid I would lose. I didn't want to put my deck out there and get embarrassed.
Huh. Well,
True.
And I had good cards. I just knew my stinking luck. I would have pulled a bunch of freaking trap and magic cards.
When I tell you my Yu-Gi-Oh collection was second to none as a kid, and I have no idea where any of those cards are, but they were all in great condition too. If somebody has my old Yu-Gi-Oh collection, they're probably sitting on a gold mine right now. They just don't know it.
I wonder if Yu-Gi-Oh is gonna make the comeback that Pokemon's made recently. Pokemon's kind of really blown back up, but
I don't know if
arguably
it'll ever
Pokemon
have that same.
has
I don't know if
Pokemon
it'll
ever
ever have the
died
same
though.
thing. Yeah, Pokemon never died is the thing.
They kept new
Like, it
generations
died
going.
to us because we probably fell off after Gen 1 or 2, you know. It got a little far-fetched for us. We grew up and had different interests. We still
Gen
love
3 was my
Pokemon.
last game that I really liked. I think I had 4, but it was like a routine buy. And after that I
Yeah.
realized not into this anymore.
Oh, I still like every single game that comes out. The Pokemon games are second to none. But
Oh, if you're talking TV
as far
show,
as the
yeah.
actual TV show, I couldn't. It got a little too far
Mm,
out there for me.
Once Ash started losing, I was like, what kind of main star is this? You're supposed to
Yeah,
bring home the
I got y'all's
championship, dog.
main protagonist getting his butt kicked on national television. What is
This
this?
this man just got RKO'd out of nowhere, and are y'all ready to roll into the next season? That's not
mm,
how we do
mm.
things around here. You ain't first, you're last.
I mean, I get losing a little bit just to build the underdog story arc. Because I mean, Ash, you knew he was going to win, but he was portrayed as kind of an underdog. Same with Yugi Moto. He was a little kid that all of a sudden went Pharaoh mode on you, and you knew he was about to come back and win.
Had the biggest chain thing in the whole school, and nobody thought nothing of it.
Right.
Like, are you a
He
rapper?
was iced out all the time. I don't
Is
know.
that
Every so
pure
often,
gold?
some people try to yank his chain. But
The moment they touch it, he go duel.
and you have to
Transform.
duel me for it.
Have you? I actually just watched Shazam the other day. Have you seen Shazam, the DC movie?
No,
Uh-uh.
It was actually fairly entertaining. It was
the
kind
name
of funny.
Shazam reminds me too much of the ShamWow guy.
I thought it was. I didn't want to watch it, and I finally gave it a chance. But it turned out to be pretty cool.
They've gotten so good at making these superhero movies that no matter which one they do, it's going to be well produced, I think.
Yeah.
Can y'all think of
My
one that just let y'all down in like the past few years?
Yeah, the Justice League, the first one.
Ooh.
Was it bad?
In comparison to the Snyder cut, it was terrible.
Uh, I was never real big into the Justice League
That
side of
was
the
the thing,
superheroes.
though. That because the movie was such a letdown. But after watching the Snyder cut, I was actually excited for Superman, for Batman, for I'm not gonna say who else.
Now, don't
Wonder
get me
Woman was
wrong.
banging, dude.
Was it? I hadn't given that one a try yet. Batman. Which
She's the
which one
strongest
was it
one
that
in
I
the
watched?
series.
Batman. Was it Batman 3? I don't. All I remember is the ending as far as to describing it. So I don't want to do that and spoil it. I mean, the movie's been out for what 5 or 6 years now, but that movie had me. I'd never been huge into Batman before, but that movie really impressed me.
Which one was it? Where he fights Bane or Two-Faced at the end?
It's the one where he dies at the end.
Huh?
Mm.
Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that is the third one, Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
That one was so good.
It's not better than Dark Knight though.
It's not. Well, maybe I need to go back and give that a try.
You need to watch them in order.
They actually. Okay. I'll look into it.
This three-part series. If you've never really, it's the Dark Knight is the one where Heath Ledger is the Joker.
Yeah.
So that's not the same one that I'm talking about?
The one you're talking about is the next one. That's Dark Knight
Dark
Rises,
Knight Rises.
where
Yeah.
Bane's the main villain in that one.
Oh, yeah, true, true, true.
It opens up with the
I think I
plane
think
scene.
I watched the Heath Ledger one before I watched that one.
I
Yeah,
have
probably.
It was
Dark
good.
Knight is one of the most. Dude, that opening bank robbery scene,
Oh yeah.
pure cinema. It's a masterpiece. I couldn't describe it.
He had a masterful Joker performance.
We'll go down to
Right.
history for,
Oh, yeah.
especially since he passed on. That was his last role.
Yeah. I can't go down the history because I don't know the history that well. But his was pretty top notch in my opinion.
He did it. He did the voice thing and the mannerisms based off some
Psychopaths, like a sane asylum type
no,
people.
this I don't know if he was a some type of musician. I think he was a singer. Dang, I wish I could think of his name
I
real
had
quick.
heard that I had heard that he had put his self through insane like mental torture and just all sorts of stuff just to understand that role better or something. It might have just been some clickbait thing I clicked on, but there's no telling.
Tom Waits. That's the guy's name. He's from back in the day.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No, I had no idea who it was until well, even once I watched it. The only reason I know this is from hearing this from somebody else before. But if you
It
ever
just
get
kind
a
of
chance, go on
amazes me
YouTube,
that
look him
Batman.
up.
Like I've never watched the Batman versus Supermans because in my mind, how in the heck does a person that has no superpower stand a chance against Superman?
Iron Man opened up them doors with his super suit. Batman built himself a super suit.
Uh, Even so, I just don't know how they mess with Superman. In my mind, Superman just kind of indestructible unless you got
Well,
some
if you take
kryptonite.
kryptonite and throw it at them,
Yeah,
bada bing, bada boom.
that shit just ain't hanging around anywhere. I wouldn't know where to get some. I guess they do. It makes sense. So, what does kryptonite do to him? Does it just make him human only, like, or does
No,
it
it'll kill him.
knock him out, or it'll kill him?
It'll slowly
No.
kill him.
Yeah,
Ah,
not instant death, very slowly.
Yeah, he'll just kind of wither away, dude, and be bam, it's over with. Bada bing, bada boom.
who do y'all like more as a superhero, Spider-Man or Iron Man? Because those are probably two of my favorites.
They are pretty good. Robert Downey Jr. gave Iron Man a good reputation.
He is Iron Man. I feel incredibly sorry for the next person that tries to play Iron Man.
Dude, I didn't even like the cartoon personas of him.
Yeah, right.
Beforehand, yeah, I was always like, yeah, you suck and Captain America sucks. Where's Wolverine? I'd rather listen
Yeah.
to him. For sure, for sure.
X-Men series, pretty good.
I've seen a couple of those, and those are good.
Yeah,
I don't feel
What's
like
his
they
name?
have the
Hugh
biggest
Jackman
following.
is Wolverine. Pretty
yeah.
solid. He's not quite as iconic as Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man, but he's right there behind him in my eyes. As
Yeah,
far
he's
as I feel
definitely
sorry for the next person that tries to fill those shoes.
agreed. Didn't someone recently try in like an alternative movie? I think it was called Logan or something.
Yeah.
So that wasn't Hugh that was in that movie?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
I thought so.
Maybe it was another one or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that was what I'm thinking about. That was his goodbye role to the, or his
I think
goodbye
that might
movie
have
to the
been what it
role.
was. Yeah. Have they made like a real version of like the Teen Titans?
Yeah, it's on HBO.
Oh,
Man, all
It's a
the
TV
good
show.
stuff is on HBO, but I just have never bought into that subscription. I need to because they got a whole list of stuff I'd like to tune into.
They have, yeah, they actually have a few things that's pretty baller on there. That's how I got to see the Justice League movie. If if I was you, I'd do it for a month. Sign up for 1 month and cancel it.
Yeah, watch all I
Just
can in 1 month and then dip out.
go on to the next one.
I might have to look into it.
But yeah, Drea had it was great seeing some because like two or three movies came out and during the time instead of going in theaters they partnered with HBO and released on HBO Max. So we got to see them,
Mm.
in house.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I wish I'd have went ahead and bought into it at the beginning of the Corona stuff. I feel like, and I'm hoping stuff is really starting to open back up and return to normal. But I know it's gonna be a long, long process.
Very. Oh, it'll never be the exact same. Probably not.
Mm-mm.
No, I mean my small town's already kind of. We never changed all that much, to be honest. But we wasn't as high risk as like a major city to where everybody's right on top of each other.
True.
And I think my city took it on pretty well by just wearing masks and stuff indoors. Where I mean, not too many people complained or was like, "This is a violation of our rights." It's just a mask, whatever.
I
Right.
mean, most people
I
around
kinda dig
here,
the
the
mask thing.
South gets a reputation of people being complaining about the mask, but that's just the people you see that the media wants you to see. Most people don't really give a darn. If you gotta wear a mask to walk inside a store, yeah, it ain't nothing to throw it on.
Right.
Most people don't care. I'm not sure how much the mask helped though. I mean, them things don't suction my face real good. I'm sure I'm still breathing some normal air in there mixed in with it, but if it'll keep my germs from jumping out on people, I guess that's
Let it be then.
yeah.
Well, ain't China been like wearing masks in the cities like forever?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I will say that this is the least amount I've been sick since COVID's happened, basically. From washing my hands all the time when it first started happening to wearing a mask going out and not necessarily getting too close to people.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for our immune systems.
Eh.
To
Like I feel like our antibodies. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I just feel like our antibodies are going to take a dip from all this.
because they feel like they don't need to put in the work now.
Yeah,
That'd be scary.
Yeah.
but I don't know
Hmm.
how all that crap works.
I'm surprised you didn't learn about that in class.
Well, see, I did learn about a lot of it, but if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing.
What is one thing you remember very well from scope class then that you learned? I feel
From
like,
scope,
yeah, your little,
I
the
learned
class you always have stories about.
yeah, scope. I learned never drink more than one glass of pickle juice at one sitting.
We know that.
Yeah, that is the main thing I learned in that class. That was mainly just a class that the smart people got a break from sitting in a room with the less smart kids, and we got to nerd out. That's basically what that class was for.
Did y'all ever have to write papers and stuff? Cause
Yeah, we were supposed to, but my first year in Scope, we wrote a real we everybody in our group actually finished like this 5,000 word essay or something, and it was like the DAR Good Citizens is who we submitted the paper to, and it was like a competition, and mine ended up making it pretty far into it. But after that year, everybody realized, hey, this is a waste of time. So the next year, when my class was supposed to write a paper, we all pretended like we were, but nobody finished it by the time it was due. Just because we were thinking, well, what are they going to do if we don't finish it? This class has nothing to do with me graduating.
true that.
So
This is a
you can't
scam.
try to you can't
It
trick the
probably makes
dumb
the school
kids.
look better.
you can't trick the smart kids. I mean, like, we're gonna find a way. Like, we know what we can get away with. Our scope teacher was great. Y'all gotta have this much done in this certain date. We wouldn't do it. We tried.
This wasn't like she was gonna punish you.
The first one was an easy topic, though. I had to write about Ben Franklin. And that's a very interesting cat if y'all have never done your research on that.
But 5,000 words, that's insane.
5,000 words is a lot for anybody, right? Especially
Even
some
for
elementary school
college.
kid.
For
Yeah,
college,
some
that's
elementary school
wow.
kid, you're giving him a 5,000 word essay? No thanks.
And who has to sit through there and read that shit? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I think my teacher should have been locked up for that. You
Abuse of
can't put a
power.
kid through that kind of mental anguish.
You know, it would have been funny if that was her actual college work and she just tricked you all into doing it.
Nah, this lady was like 60 years old. Ain't no way she was still in college.
It could have been continuing education.
That I will say that is the one class at my high school that actually taught us how to write a check.
I had a teacher in 6th grade. Colton, I believe you had the same teacher. She taught us how to write a check. I thank her for that, but it has turned out to be useless.
Yeah, I've written very few checks in my adult life.
I have written quite a few. I still do
Colton,
that.
you live in 1997?
Yeah, man.
You even own a debit
They
card
got these little rectangle
Yeah.
pieces of plastic.
and an auto draft.
I got to have a checking account in order to have a debit card.
Yeah, I
But
ain't
you're
got no
writing
checks.
checks. Yeah, if you
Yeah,
how
I'm
you
writing
writing
checks.
checks then? A checking account? You're not writing checks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have a checking account.
That's what I'm saying. I have a checking account. So I have a debit card and I write checks.
Wow. You just be
Why?
like, you take card? And they be like, yeah.
Well, I don't like have a checkbook or nothing in my pocket. I usually mostly pay it on bills and for church, for the tithe. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Old school right there.
That's the first thing that jumped in my mind when you said you still write checks was church. Because
Yeah.
they ain't got an ATM. Little card swiper.
What's a good Sunday tithe then? That's for someone who doesn't know.
What is it? 10% of your income?
10% of whatever you made that week.
10%?
Yeah.
My money?
10. Yeah.
10%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
I mean, you give what you can. Like,
That too. I
You're
mean,
gonna
you
have to
only-
forgive
if
me
you-
for
if you-
lying then. Cause
if you only make, if you barely make enough to live, I don't think Jesus is gonna slap you on the wrist for not tithing more than you can. But
No, but the
That's
preacher's gonna
kind of the
slap on some
guideline.
Gucci slides when he gets home when y'all ain't looking.
well, if you
After he
preach
done
doing that, you might want to
drove
find a new
home in a
church.
Cadillac. What else
Our
they gonna
small
do with
town
the money?
preachers ain't like that, dude.
Shoot, they be hiding it. Unless they there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, you can tell.
Oh, that's a good one.
You might
Yeah,
not want to believe that a preacher's a bad egg, but
there are
you can
some.
tell. Yeah. The signs
That's
would
the
be
main thing is them like pulling up, like I said, in a Cadillac or something,
there. Yeah.
getting out dressed all flashy, like, oh, we know why you
And
in
first
this.
off, preachers around here, that's not their full-time job.
A lot
Nope.
of the times you're right, yeah.
Now, your bigger city preachers that have a church with a congregation of several thousand, maybe. That's their full-time
Shoot,
job.
In Forest, even like the Church of God, some of those bigger churches, they can afford full-time preachers.
Yep, yep. And you might need to look into some embezzlement going on there, but in our churches, nah. I would like to think not. If so, that's between him and God.
Hmm. Y'all, I had to serve on the grand jury one time. This was a year or two ago. I had to
Grand
serve for
jury, what
six
happened?
months.
6 months?
Uh, yeah, I had to serve for 6 months. I was
Jesus.
old.
Like every
Yeah,
day for 6 months?
yeah, but we went in that first day. We did all the cases we needed to look at and do, and took a tour of the jail. And then they're like, all right, if we need to call y'all in on something, we'll call y'all in. So I was like on call for 6 months.
Oof.
Yeah.
Did they ever call you though, or was it pretty
No,
much okay? Good.
no, I was happy when I got that letter. You have been
Man, when y'all
revenge.
were in school, did they ever take y'all on a field trip to the women's prison?
Yes. And they
I never went.
yelled at us.
Yeah, the first time I went, it was terrifying. The the second time I went, it was hilarious.
What was the difference?
The first time we were scared. It was a new environment. The second time we already knew, you know, like hey, they can't really do too much. Like we know that they're going to try to scare us. Like, as a kid, you adapt to situations fairly quick. The first time might catch you off guard, but that second time around, you ready to dish it back at them a little bit.
I don't think they could convince me to go back a second time. I was like, yeah, I've been. Like, it's cool. I didn't get yelled at or isolated out of the group, but I saw enough people to get picked on. I'm like, if I
Yeah.
go back again, that's like playing a second round of Russian roulette.
Not well. See, that's what I realized the first time. They didn't pick on the men as much. Like they would verbally like pick on you if you looked a little goofy or something. I think they complimented me on like my attractiveness because I was in good shape way back in the day,
Yeah, they
and it
try to
made me
hit on you.
feel
What they would
real.
do,
Yeah, it made me
make
feel
you feel
real awkward and
uncomfortable.
wanting out of there. I felt sexually assaulted in a female prison on a school trip, but but most of the time they wouldn't touch the men. Now, if I was a female on that trip, I would have refused to go.
One
They were
girl
stealing
was,
their ponytails and
heck yeah,
all
snatch that
sorts of
shit.
junk.
One girl was chewing gum, and they like three of them just jumped on her basically. They didn't physically touch her or whatever, but they
Yeah, I
got so
surrounded
close to
her.
her face, yelling at her, talking about, you think we can have gum in here? You think that's cool? You just rub that shit in our face,
Yeah. Now,
eating her up, and she was shook the rest of the trip.
oh yeah, that
Low
it
key, I
made
think she wanted to fight
it
him.
did its job. It did its job as far as like making me never want to go to prison because I was thinking if the women's prison is like this, because they were the whole time they were talking about you men definitely don't want to go across the street over there, and I could believe that.
For sure.
One
But
woman had
again,
like whelps, bubbles of just all over her face. It was the most disturbing thing. And like she sat down and talked with us, and she said, "Yeah, it gets bad in here. I had an altercation with one girl, and instead of just us going our separate ways, she went and found a boiling pot of water and threw it on my face. Like that's how crazy it can get in here." I was like, "Holy crap, man!"
wow, that would
Yeah,
be
like no way.
terrible.
I'd be in jail for a
Mm-mm.
long time if somebody did that to me,
I
because I'd have
probably
had to try
be.
to strangle her.
That's one of those you'd have to catch a few days later, like coming
Well,
back
yeah, because
from.
you're gonna be in the hospital the next several.
Yeah, you have to recuperate for sure.
That's insane.
Did y'all ever go to the zoo on a field trip, like down in
Oh man,
Louisiana,
I got a
Audubon or
crazy
whatever?
zoo story. Yeah,
What happened
we
to you at
went.
the zoo?
Man, we were all sitting there, and we were about to walk up to the elephant little exhibit. And all of a sudden, one of our teachers starts freaking out, like, "Oh God, y'all don't look!" Trying to shield some people's eyes. So that immediately made us want to look even further. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the same thing you're probably thinking right now. Two elephants, you know. No, one elephant was taking a dump. The other elephant was catching it in his trunk and eating it. Until
Ooh.
this day, I cannot get that mental image. out of my eyes, and every time I go to the zoo, I'm real nervous it's gonna happen again. When I'm telling you, what are the odds that we stumbled across that? I've never seen that on Discovery Channel.
That is the most extreme thing.
Like an elephant with a fetish? Like,
They need to
come
check.
on now.
They need to check that elephant out. Something's wrong with that fella.
He's been in captivity too long.
What's that movie, Sex Drive? You ever had a rolling brown out?
Takes off running.
That's low-key one of the funniest movies ever to me.
That was a great movie.
Man,
Yeah,
took off
you're
with
right.
the whole headboard. Not today, see.
Oh.
Alright. Up next, boys, with the Not Labeled Podcast recurring segment. Give me a story from your worst day at work. Bad days on the
one?
job. Just a bad day on the job. Colton, I
My
think you
past
got a
job,
great
there was nothing
story.
but bad days, but I can't really think. Okay,
Colton has a
Colton,
good
you
story.
started. Yeah, you started.
Do I have a good story?
Oh yeah, you do. Just think about flying all the way from that little lodge to Anchorage.
Oh, yeah, that day. Alright, so, I worked in Alaska for a while. You know, I go up there for like 5 months out of the year, live up there and work up there at a lodge, right?
What
I
type
was
of
a
work?
maintenance guy.
Maintenance.
Maintenance, yeah.
What
That's
did
still
that?
insane to me that you did that. That's super cool, though.
What all did that
Like,
entail?
that's interesting. That's an interesting part of life.
It's a life-changing experience. Like, while y'all were going to college, I went up there. I was like, nah, I ain't doing the college thing. So I went
I
up
should have
there.
went with you.
I should have went with you too.
Dude, you all should have went with me.
We really
would
should
have
have.
had a blast.
We probably would have been running that lodge. We probably would have moved to Alaska ourselves. Come to think of
Yeah,
it.
I've been
And
thinking
live up
about
there.
it, but anyway, on subject, off subject. Anyway, one of my jobs was burn trash in the incinerator. Well, they have rules up there. No batteries, no aerosol cans, none of that crap up in the garbage. Yeah, we separate glass, all that. We separate all that. Well, somebody didn't get the memo one day, and I went to burn trash. And, you know, I usually wear, welding gloves and stuff to touch the incinerator, and
Yeah.
face shield and all that. Well, I threw a bag up in there and I closed the door, and I usually let it burn for a little bit, and open it back up and stir it. Well, me not thinking, I forgot to put my face shield back down. So, I open up the door and I go to stir it with my poking stick, and all I hear is boom, and I can't
Oh,
see
shit.
nothing. I'm blind, my eyes watering, and everything. Something had done exploded. I couldn't see shit.
Wow.
So,
Like, was it like
Yeah.
a flashbang, or did you, like, actually get eye damage from it?
pretty much what it was a can of bear mace.
What was worse, the blinding light or the heat?
The heat
That makes
and
sense.
getting mace was a bad
yeah.
part of it too.
How hard was
So-
it to breathe?
It was rough, man. It was really rough. Luckily, I finally got to where I can kind of open my eyes a little
Holy
bit.
smokes.
So,
I'm just
I finally
picturing it in
started
my head.
stumbling. Yeah, I started stumbling down the road a little bit, and the girls' bunkhouse ain't too far from the incinerator. I got to stumbling over there, and one of the workers was walking up to work, and he noticed me, and the first thing he did was run up. Was like, "Hey," it was a foreigner. He was from like Bulgaria. Went to him like, "Hey, are you okay?" I was like, "No, go get help." It from what I could see, that man went into the whole, you know how sprinters get into the sprinting
Yeah.
position before they took off? That man did it. That man did that and took off. I mean, he was gone.
His Paul Revere kicked in, dog. You gotta let him know.
That man was gone. So at this point, I finally got my bearings straight, found the girls' bunkhouse. So I busted up in there, and they got like 2 showers on each floor.
Yeah.
I don't care what was going on. I busted open the door on the first level. I busted the bathroom open. Anybody in here? I didn't hear no answer. Stumbled over to the shower, turned on the cold water, bared out my clothes, and hopped in the shower and started washing my face as much as I could. Oh, Lord.
Holy. Yeah.
So while I was doing all that, I finally got out. So I was like, okay, I bet you there's going to be a fire when I get back. At this point, my adrenaline kicked in. I wasn't feeling much pain or nothing. So I grabbed the fire extinguisher and ran back to the incinerator. And by that time, the boss and another maintenance guy were already there putting out the fire. So I kind of rushed up and helped them out where I could. And the boss looked at me. He said, "You doing all right?" I was like, "Ours, oh, kind of. It kind of hurts a little bit." He's like, "Take you back up to the lodge." So he loaded me up in the truck, took me back to the lodge, and we went back there to the kitchen staff. They got like burn cream and everything, you know, kitchen staff.
Yeah.
Where the
Yeah,
med
that's
kit
right.
is probably.
Slash paramedics. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so they grabbed the med kit, and they actually took me into one of the rooms and laid me down to bed and was doctoring on me and everything.
Dang.
But at this point, the boss was like, "You think you're gonna need a hospital?" I was like, "Yeah, kinda." At that point, I done went into shock. Body was shaking and everything.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So,
Was it
you know,
day?
the nearest hospital's in Anchorage, and it's about an 8-hour drive from where I was at. So they got me on a plane, and on the plane it's about a 2-hour ride. So they got me down to the little airstrip and loaded me up in a plane. And oh my God, that was the worst 2 hours ever on that plane. Oh God.
I bet it was. Holy. Well, you made my worst day at work not seem all that bad.
Yeah.
How was the turbulence? Like, did it really? Could you feel
It
it?
was a dang good pilot. He kept her pretty steady.
Just
But
the pain of being in shock and the burns was hurting you, huh?
yes, it was to the point where it was pretty rough. But anyway, one of the other maintenance guys, he rode with the plane with me and kept me awake. Wouldn't let me go to sleep. I don't blame him. Just in case I had a concussion or something.
It's just a crazy thing to think about.
Got to the hospital and had to wait about an hour before they got me back there into the ER.
Typical.
Oh yeah,
How fast
They
was
got-
time moving for you in those moments?
slow as all get out.
Because I
I
could
was
imagine feeling the relief of finally making it to the hospital, but then just sitting there for like.
I got a story along those same lines we can talk about later too.
Yeah.
The hospital's
Yeah.
never fast.
Oh no.
True.
Finally got me back there, hooked me up to the morphine drip. Doctor come up in there asking me all kinds of questions. Like, he got to look at me. He's like, "Well, what happened to you?" I turned and looked at him, and with the straightest voice I could, I go, "I got burned." You know? It's just like, what do you think? I got burned.
Listen here, Doc. She was smart. Send in a different one.
But anyway, they put some more burn cream on me and gave me some medicine and said, just take it easy for the next couple of days. They gave me some hydrocodone or whatever for the pain. Ooh, I don't play with those no more. Ooh. Mm-mm. It's like I went into zombie mode whenever I had one of them.
He was out of it, huh?
Yeah. And after about 2 days, I went back to work. All the staff had made me a big old cardboard card about get well soon. I
Oh,
think one of the other maintenance guys wrote on there, something. I don't know. I forgot exactly what it said. Like light them up or something like that. I don't know. I got a kick out of it.
at least
Uh,
your coworkers are sweet. My previous job, they'd just been like, about time your ass showed back up to work.